the Newswire is even more important. And that's probably why the
Mm-hmm.
Newswires
Mm-hmm.
charge so much,
Mm-hmm.
normally over $1,700. And so I do love that we're able to give that value to small businesses for a fraction of the price.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How, and at the same time, is expensive, okay, especially for a small business. So someone is starting out, okay, and the other day, this podcast actually, how to go from 0 to 1. The other day, I interviewed 1 millionaire, and he told me, Harry, to go from 0 to 1 million, it doesn't matter how many steps, but let me tell you something. This is a marketing exercise. Nobody knows about you. So if you want to get to first million, even if your product is not good, you need to go out there. People need to know about you. Otherwise, that's how you get to 1 million. But getting out there, make it expensive. So what advice do you have, or what message do you have for entrepreneurs starting out that they don't have some budget? They need to have the voice out there, and they don't know what to do. They have PR, we can say, that is an extension of a marketing strategy, right? Which is very effective. And I can say that it has something amazing that entrepreneurs don't have, which is the credibility. So that media give you credibility. Like all of a sudden, you see, if I'm in CNN and all these TV channels, and you get you can leverage the credibility. So tell us a little bit more, Mickey, about what message do you have for entrepreneurs starting out? How can they use PR effectively, and why?
Right. So the reason is because credibility makes it easier to convert.
Mm-hmm.
You can get leads from earned media. That's what we call it when the media writes about you or covers you. But you can also take your existing leads and pipeline, and if you're converting at say 20%, when they read earned media, they see that credibility, that signal of trust. When a journalist writes about you, it's almost like an implied endorsement, and you
It's
will
a
see
third
that
party endorsement.
instead of 20% conversion rate, you might see it bump up to 30%. And so your
Absolutely.
existing leads could be a 50% improvement in conversions. Same thing with churn. Everybody loses customers at usually a somewhat predictable rate where, every 3 years or so, they feel they have to shop around to make sure they're working with the best company. And so you'll find that you'll reduce your churn rate when you get earned media and you put that earned media in front of them because they're like, oh, I was going to shop around to make sure we're using the right person, but I just read them about them in our latest, trade magazine. We're with the right place. They feel very comfortable. So it's going to reduce your churn rate, and people are going to stay with you longer and spend more money with you. And that's just some of the value of it. We work with a lot of startups, and a lot of startups before they do paid advertising, they do really, really extensive PR campaigns, and they'll, often do
That's a great
12
idea.
12 to 20 releases. And because they're startups, I can tell you what they do very well. They have an elevator pitch. They know exactly what they're doing, and the marketplace is different from everybody else, and they can articulate it in 1 to 2 sentences. That's something that everybody should be able to strive to do. What is it that's special about your business that's different from everybody else? And if it's not, you have a problem. You never want to be a commodity business. You want to have some differentiators. And if you are finding that you're saying there's not much that's different from me than a lot of other people, what could you add that would make you unique and distinct? And these people do a base. They get media pickup. Not every press release generates earned media, but at a campaign of say 6 to 8 releases, if you're doing strategic types of press releases, you should get 2 or 3 of those press releases that get meaningful earned media. And
Mm-hmm.
that could, and then once you have that, you take that media, you put it in your autoresponder series, your education series. You put it on your website. You put logos. You actually link to the articles, but make sure you also preserve the articles. Download them as PDFs. Download them as images, because
Absolutely.
every time a news outlet revises or licenses a new CMS, content management system, they purge a lot of old content. And as a result, your links may no longer work. Your articles may no longer be on their website. But if
I
you've
done
got
that
that,
one.
yeah,
I
if
download
you
them, yeah, because
yeah,
sometimes
if you've got them, you can link to them and continue to show them to people on your website.
100%.
And a lot. I've had people who get this earned media, and they get leads from it, they get customers from it. But the biggest thing is they now have a base of authority, and when they turn paid advertising on, in the case of the startups, they're going to see that it converts so much better. Instead of, say, a 5% conversion rate, they might have a 12, 14% conversion rate, especially if it's a modestly priced consumer product. And that's killer. That's the difference, pouring gasoline on the fire. If you're a startup and you just put the paid advertising on, you might find that you're spending $50 to sell a $80 widget. But if you put a base of earned media and you have these articles and an education series, and you get people to go to your website and sign up, and then you educate them and you expose them to these articles and people who've written about you, all of a sudden you can see you're converting at, say, $12, $8.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. These are done personally. Yeah. So in our landing page, we do events all over the world. And I think it was an event that we were doing in Singapore, right? And we paying a lot for leads, a lot to these Facebook and all these pay-per-click advertising, and of course we were getting leads and people were attending to the event, but it was our conversion rate was expensive. And then what we did? We did split test, okay? And in one of the landing pages, we put a magazine when I'm in the cover of the magazine, okay? The name is Business Fit Magazine, right? So say, okay, you know what? Let's put the magazine where I'm on the cover, right? Let's add this image there, and to exactly what you described it, so we can add credibility to the landing page, and hopefully we can convert a little bit cheaper. And oh my God, if I tell you how good this work, you won't believe. Well, you do believe because you're on the space. I'm telling you, thousands and thousands and thousands in advertising we save just because we put that cover of the magazine. All of the sudden, the cost of advertising reduced because and conversion rate. Of course, we can measure how many people visiting the page and how many people convert before and after, so we know very well how to do this. And after, and because we had the split test like you described, we know, okay, this page is converting this and we're spending that much, and this one with the magazine cover is doing amazing. And just that piece save us a ton of money. We're talking about events all over the world and the same landing page and customer acquisition. You're talking about hundreds and hundreds of people bringing to an event through the same landing page. That exercise, it was something very impressive. So I agree and I concur everything that you describing, right? Because this is in our experience. Yeah, if you have a startup and nobody knows you, and you don't have credibility, and you start to do advertising, pay per click, and another kind of marketing with no credibility, it's gonna be expensive to convert.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, right? You've been in this industry, in this space, so many years.
Right.
Whether if you bring credibility to the space, that you will need it anyway because nobody knows you, and when nobody knows you, you don't have credibility. You do have to leverage credibility from other sources, for a TV channel, from a journalist, for a kind of magazine, right? Depending on your industry. And Now, with all this online AI and all these new things, PR has changed a lot since you started until now. So tell us a little bit more. How have been your journey and how you have faced adversity and the industry change, right? So,
Sure.
which have been
So,
dramatic. Before, when you started. Oh my God! If you are in the magazine, you are the king of England, right?
right.
It was amazing, and but now the more the industry evolved, the more was more small business owners first. The for the big business have access. Now even a small business can have access. So how you embrace to change?
So, uh, what I did was I just adapted to the changes in the marketplace.
Hmm.
I started out by building my own database and emailing journalists, and uh, all of a sudden,
Which is back on the day what the way of doing this, right?
right. And then all of a sudden media databases became available, and for, $10,000, $20,000 you can license a database and you can send to journalists. And what happens is they send to the journalists that they know cover their market, and then nothing happens. And then they go, well, we just need to send to more people. And so all of a sudden, if you have a
Hmm.
journalist who covers golf, and there's like 1,400 of them, and you send it to them and nothing gets done, they go, well, who likes to play golf? Bankers and financial people, Wall Street people. So let's email banking journalists, let's email financial analysts. And the
Hmm.
truth is, those people do not cover golf. They do not cover products. They're
Hmm.
never going to write an article about it. But all of a sudden, their inbox is full of off-targeted press releases. And so
Hmm.
that started happening with all of these other different industries as well. And as a result, what's happening is email is now not very effective with a lot of journalists. I know a lot of PR
They
firms
don't
used to,
even look at it, right?
yeah, a lot of PR firms used to pitch by email as well as phone, and now they
Hmm.
have to rely on phone. But journalists are getting good at blocking numbers they don't recognize. So
Ah.
that's made the Newswire that much more important. And in the U.S., I mentioned we have
Mm.
two Newswires, and for that reason, it's the place that most journalists go to. If journalists today are expected to write about double the amount of articles that they were 15 years ago. And
Absolutely.
it's because
Yeah.
there's so much financial pressure
Hmm.
on newspapers, magazines, and print
Hmm.
that these people are expected to do more with less. And so we have less investigative journalism. We have less journalists looking around for stories, and more they're on these newswires. And when they go to the newswire and log in, it's got a customized feed for them. It shows their industry, but they can even tailor that industry feed to exclude press releases that mention certain keywords, or make sure ones get pinned to the top that mention certain keywords that they definitely cover. So it makes it very easy for them. It's completely opposite of their inbox. Inbox is chaos. This newswire feed is just purely what is in their industry and what they're looking for. And for that reason, the newswire is even more important. And that's probably why the
Hmm.
newswires
Hmm.
charge so much,
Hmm.
normally over $1,700. And so I do love that we're able to give that value to small businesses for a fraction of the price.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.